live. News 8 at 5 starts now.
It is quiet for the moment, but it looks like some of us could be waking up to snow for the morning commute. This storm not expected to be a big one, but it could mess things up, especially along the shoreline.
Storm teammates Erica Martinez here with the very latest on this. Erica.
All right, Ann and Darren, we do have a messy Tuesday in the forecast, and we're already starting to see signs of that moisture making its way in from the south and that colder air from the north. So let's get started with our radar. Notice that those clouds are already starting to build. We did see a mostly clear day today, a very nice day, in fact. And as we kind of take a wider perspective here, let's zoom on out and notice that we do have that colder air mass approaching from the northwest across the Great Lakes there. So that cold blast certainly in store, and there it is, that precipitation that will mix in with that colder air mass. So we do have some rainy conditions just to the southwest, but as that cold blast and that those rainy conditions meet up, of course, that does mean some snow there. So our microcast starting this at 10 p.m. tonight. Notice that we're seeing those clouds build. Now, microcast is painting some snow arriving already by 7 a.m. I do think it may get here by about 5 a.m. So certainly for your morning commute, it does look like it will be messy. Now, I am not expecting too much as far as accumulated snowfall totals are concerned, but I do expect just under 3.5 inches when it's all said and done. Some towns, especially farther north, will get less snow, but understand this, as these temperatures drop later in the day and through the overnight hours, I do expect very icy roads. So very dangerous, hazardous conditions, especially for your evening commute. So it will be a messy commute tomorrow morning to start your Tuesday, and it will be a very messy commute to end the day as well. So give yourself plenty of time for your travels. Of course, I've got more details in my extended 8-day forecast because we have a break during the middle of the week, but more rain on the approach. Details coming up. In the meantime, back to you.
All right, Erica, thanks. Other news now. Police investigating a double shooting that has rattled a quiet neighborhood in Wilton.
Police say it happened at a home on Grumman Avenue. News 8's Jamie Murrell joins us live from Wilton, where police are gathering evidence. Jamie?
Well, and Wilton Police and State Police Major Crimes are at the house right now collecting evidence. Now, here's what we've learned around 8 a.m. this morning. Police did get a 911 call and rushed out to 35 Grumman Avenue. Now, police say a 47-year-old man and a 39-year-old woman had been shot. The woman ran to a neighbor's house to get help, calling 911. Police tell us the man involved here, the unidentified man, has life-threatening injuries. The weapon used here was a rifle. But at this point, police still trying to sort out exactly what happened.
With the initial call as first responders, our patrol officers went there. They provided what first aid they could to the two victims. The two victims were taken to the Norwalk Hospital. Our detectives were also called to scene. We have secured the scene, and we're doing we're doing a search warrant to be able to go back into the home and do evidence collection.
Now, we're told the man and woman do live in the house together. There are children. However, the children were not at the house, at the time. They were at school, and accommodations have been made for them. Of course, we don't know what that is at this point. Meanwhile, the listing here, doing a little bit of homework, the listing of the person who lives at this home is a Charles Garcia. Now, both people involved in the shooting were taken to Norwalk Hospital. When we did call Norwalk Hospital to ask for a patient condition, I was told by someone there, quote, "We are not allowed to talk about this particular patient," end quote. I'll have more for you coming up tonight at 6. For now, though, we're live in Wilton. I'm Jamie Murrell, News 8.
All right, Jamie, thanks. A Stratford truck driver and a Bridgeport man are both locked up, charged with stealing more than 100 brand new handguns and selling them. Truck driver Elliot Perez and Michael Murphy of Bridgeport charged with stealing those brand new Smith & Wesson handguns from the Smith & Wesson plant up in Springfield, Mass. Police say Perez stole the guns and gave them to Murphy to sell. Police only recovered 28 of the 111 guns that were stolen. Both men facing a list of charges. Murphy is out on bond. Perez locked up tonight on a $500,000 bail. For folks still reeling from the aftermath of Sandy, they are without a home, wondering when they'll be able to move back. Folks in one East Haven apartment building say they're caught in a waiting game that has left them homeless. Tonight we've got their backs. News 8's Allie Reed leading the charge to find them the answers they deserve.
Residents who live at 441 Co Avenue in East Haven have had to be out of their apartments since Superstorm Sandy forced them to evacuate. After parts of the building's roof blew off, sending debris flying around and water leaking into the building.
I feel so bad about the people who don't have any insurance because they're just out on the street. I don't know what they're doing.
He says most of the tenants cannot afford to live somewhere else. And he says no work has been done on the apartment since the storm, making many worried about when they'll be able to move back home.
No, I'm loaded with anxiety, big time. I'm unemployed, so it's kind of hard for me to find another place. So I got to wait this out. It's not easy.
It's been crazy because I don't know. I can't get no answers on when it's going to get, every day you call the office and they say, well, they're going to start working today. They're going to start working today. And every day nothing happens.
Residents say they're frustrated that this big mess remains all around their apartment complex, but they say their biggest frustration lies in the fact that they say they can't get any answers from anyone regarding when they'll be able to move back into their apartments.
They keep saying 4 to 6 weeks, but they haven't started yet.
But the management company tells us they cannot get to work until they hear back from their insurance company.
Be patient with us. We're trying to work. It's not up to us. It's all on the insurance company, and we're trying our hardest, but that's all we really know ourselves.
He says they can't give a time frame for when residents will get back in, at least not until they hear back about their insurance claim.
We're sorry that it happened, but nothing we could do.
In East Haven, Allie Reed, News 8.
4 weeks after Hurricane Sandy, cleanup efforts are still underway along some of Connecticut's coastlines hit hard by the storm. Volunteers were out at Milford's Silver Sands State Park and Walnut Beach to help cleanup efforts. Young lacrosse players are trading sticks for shovels in an effort to clear litter and dangerous debris from local beaches. City crews have been working to clean the beaches but have had to move to other priority spots, so this grassroots volunteer effort is working to make it safe while saving money.
Everyone's cleaning up the high tide areas, but when the low tide, you got all that debris that's kind of been buried. So they want to make sure that gets picked up so next year people aren't just stepping on things and cutting up their legs and stuff because no one really cleaned that section up.
Connecticut's environmental commissioner is set to tour Walnut Beach and nearby Silver Sands State Park later on this week.
Connecticut utility regulators are now studying the idea of allowing the state's municipally owned electric companies to expand.
It could allow your city or town to take the place of UI or CLMP. Chief Capital Correspondent Mark Davis has been investigating the pros and cons of this idea. He joins us live. Mark.
Hi, and Darren. Good evening, everyone from the Hartford newsroom. Yeah, one of the big pros here is that these municipally owned power companies all appear to have lower rates than UI and CLNP. And during storms, the local crews seem to get out to repair the lines faster. Just like after last year's big storm, state regulators are starting to review how the major utilities did in restoring power after Hurricane Sandy, when some people were without power for over a week.
Not unlike what we experienced with Irene and last year's snowstorm, we had, in this case, about 3,200 customers out at the peak of the storm, and then had all customers on basically, I think, the last dozen or so by late Thursday night after the storm.
So about 3 days?
Yes.
These electrical parts are at the town of Wallingford Electric Division, a municipally owned power distribution company that serves about 25,000 customers. It's one of 7 municipally owned power companies in Connecticut, and the legislature has found that their record for getting the lights back on after storms is better than the state's 2 major utilities. So now state regulators are studying the feasibility of allowing more towns to create their own power companies.
In a community like Wallingford that already has an existing municipal authority, some of the options may be to look at whether those companies would want to or be able to expand into other communities.
But there are major roadblocks to the idea. A city or town would have to purchase the existing infrastructure, the poles and wires, in an entire town. It could cost billions. The governor said today that the state could not offer any help in such an effort.
Our emphasis has been on microgrids and to get microgrids up and running, particularly in downtowns, small and large downtown areas. We think that that's a better way to harden the system much more rapidly.
And without some kind of help from state government or somebody, most cities and towns would have a very hard time raising the money through bonding to purchase all the poles and wires in their entire town to do this. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.
All right, Mark, thanks. In our online poll question, we want to know if you would like to have your town have its own electric utility. Let us know. Just come to the website at WTNH.com.
Connecticut State Police say fatalities and highway accidents were up during the long Thanksgiving Day weekend over the last year. Police say 3 people died. That's up from 2 last year. As far as accidents, there were 410. That's 21 more than in 2011. Also this year, police handed out 1,600 speeding tickets and 62 DUIs.
A vigil is being held tonight for a 14-year-old Manchester High School freshman who drowned in the school's swimming pool. That vigil being held until 7 tonight. Malbrick Dunker was participating in a phys ed class last Wednesday morning when he was found at the bottom of the school pool.
Still to come for you tonight, did investigators in the Casey Anthony case miss a key piece of evidence? We'll tell you what detectives in Florida are saying about this case.
Also, Cyber Monday is underway and online retailers are racking up sales right now. We're going to check out the numbers in just a minute, but first here's Erica.
All right, we do have a messy Tuesday in the forecast. Not expecting too much accumulation, but snow definitely there. I've got all the details coming up in my full forecast.
And what's coming up at 6? Well, today is a very special day for dozens of children in the state. It's Connecticut Adoption Day. At 6, we'll introduce you to a set of twins who now have a new place to call home.